Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Steve here, and welcome to the first episode of The Vault. This is just a short video series where I'll be sharing a few items from my personal collection and telling you a bit about them. So tonight, we have a few classic magazines to go through, starting with this one here. This is Electronic Gaming Monthly from, I believe, it's January 2000, PlayStation 2 launch. So 26 years ago, and there are now people who weren't born when this magazine came out who are married and have kids of their own, in case you were wondering how long it's really been since the year 2000. I know, we're getting old. Next up, this item, this is actually older than I am. This is a science fiction and fantasy magazine, obviously based on, or about Star Wars, from fall 1977. So this was released just a few months after the movie hit theaters for the first time, which, if you can believe it, was almost 50 years ago. But it's still neat to look at that, see how they did it back then. It was just a fun time. All right, next up we have, oh, a little awkward here, a WWF magazine. I used to read these a lot back in the day. They just, had fun stories and photos of wrestlers and pictures from live events. And, of course, this is before you could get all of that easily on the internet. So, like, for example, here's a write-up on a match between Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And if you were a wrestling fan from back then, it was a very, very major feud between those two guys. So that was just a fun thing that I liked as a wrestling fan. Oh, Nintendo Power. R.I.P. Nintendo Power. I like this magazine. I had a subscription when I was a kid. Every month when it would come to my door, I would read through it in a day, and then I would read through it again the next day. I loved it. Again, this was before internet, so, when we got the Nintendo Power magazine, that's how we saw all the new games that were coming out, and all the games that had just come out, and all kinds of stuff. It was the source back in the day. This particular episode magazine, 2007, launch of the Wii, which remains to this day one of the best-selling consoles of all time. And then last but not least, I have a 2004 game guide. This is also older than 20 years now. We are all getting up there, folks, no doubt. Like, here's original Xbox, not 360, but OG Xbox. Some interesting stuff in there. Another thing I like about these old magazines is you go through and you look at the ads, and you'll see ads for, like, old flip phones and CD players and iPods and all kinds of stuff that we just don't have really much of anymore. So it's just a fun little trip back in time. But these are only a few of a whole bit of magazines that I have over there that I like to look back through just to reminisce. It's, just fun to go down memory lane here and there. But anyway, that wraps up the first episode of The Vault. Now we'll be back with another episode very soon.